Hi guys, it's John here from Xpos. Welcome to this week's edition of Friday Freebies. So this week we're going to take a look at the caching up feature in Xpos, which used to be called Secure Cache. This allows you to enter a float at the start of the day and then cache up at the end of the day for your terminal, and you'll be able to see the figures of what you counted versus what you should have in Xpos and view any discrepancies. The idea here is in a golf shop in a retail environment that it puts the onus on counting into a system versus what you should have, and it gives a little bit more security within the system, but also saves a lot of time. And using the counting tool in Xpos helps you to input the correct numbers into the system. So hopefully you guys will find this as a really good feature to use going forwards. At the end, if you do watch the video and would like to know more, or you'd like some help setting up, please let me know. So you can either email, you can see on the screen, hello@xpos.co.uk, or john.williams@xpos.co.uk. Right then, without further ado, let's get started. Right, so first of all, with Secure Cache, then we need to actually turn on the security feature here to allow us to use Secure Cache. So if we go into the terminals part of the system, now the Secure Caching Up function in Xpos is actually set per terminal. So what I mean by that is that if you have two tills in the shop, Terminal 1 and Terminal 2, you would actually set these up individually because you have one person on till 1, a separate person on till 2. You'll have two separate floats, two sets of sort of figures. You'll be taking different tenders on each till, so you will need to be caching up separately on each one. So what I'm doing here, you will need to repeat this for each terminal you have in the Pro Shop. So first of all, we're going to select our terminal and click Edit. Now, for the use secure cache to be able to be ticked, as you can see, I can't tick it here. We need to actually turn on requires PIN. So requires PIN is where certain features within the system, once this is turned on and saved, you will need to put a PIN number in for the user. So for the very first time to get your PIN number, when you click on a staff name, which I'll show you a little bit later, there is a little button there to click forgot PIN. That will instantly email the staff member, the user, a 4-digit PIN code to their email address instantly. So we recommend sort of with that actually using something called an RFID reader, or using Dallas keys. And again, let us know and we can give you the information on both of those, but they will just make the sales process a bit slicker. So requires PIN and use secure cache. Down the bottom here, we've got lock terminal that also appeared. So generally speaking, you would always lock the terminal. This just means that if I made a sale, once the sale's finished, I walked away, another staff member came to the till now, they would actually need to put their PIN code in or swipe their card and so on. If it was never locked, it means that whoever opens the shop that day, the terminal is locked to them. So fine if there's one person in, but if there's 3 or 4 staff members and you want to know who's making the sales, then the problem with that is all the sales are going to go through against that one person. So we've left this as always here. So I'm just going to save that. So that's secure cache set up here. So as far as it's turned on, I would repeat that as I mentioned earlier for each terminal that you're going to use. But today I've just got the one terminal. So we're now just going to go to the sales screen. Okay, so here then it's the start of the day. We can see that we've got open terminal here. So if we just click on open terminal, and I'm going to select the staff member, and here's that little forgot PIN button there. So this is for the very first time you could tick that button. That would instantly send a 4-digit PIN code to your email address. I know my PIN, so I'm just going to pop mine in. And at this point now then, this screen allows me to enter my starting float for the day. So in my business, I've got £100 fixed float at the start of each day. With that in mind, you can either enter the exact amount into this column, or you can use the counting tool. So I'm just going to use the counting tool today, like so. So we've put all our tenders in. I'm happy that balances. The notes box is potentially, if you've got some sort of discrepancy here, you can use that box just to put some info in there about why there's a discrepancy, if you know. So I'm going to click next. And at this point now, that's our float entered. And now we can start to make sales for the day. I'm actually just going to put a few sales through on my system just for the benefit of when we actually cash up at the end of the day. So I'm going to do that in a moment. One thing I will mention now is we've got the new sale. So instead of seeing the staff names now, because we've got the security turned on the system requires PIN, that now means that you need to tap this little box to start a sale, then pick the staff member's name. Now, at this point, if you did have an RFID reader or a Dallas keys set up, you would be able to just swipe or tap at this point, and that would take you straight to the sales screen. So as you can see, saves a lot of time those. I'm just going to go through with my PIN number here today. Okay, so I'm just going to put a few sales through now. Okay, so I've put a few sales through for the day, and now it's the end of the day, and we're going to cash up. So to do that, we're going to tap close terminal, pop in my PIN. So at this point now, we can see that we've got our opening float at the top on this screen and a little bit of information about the user on the left-hand side. This screen allows us to enter the figures for each tender that we've taken. So when you get sort of some of the figures like credit card, generally this would be coming off the card machine. You could enter that figure. So for myself, I'm going to just put in the total figure for a credit card that I've taken today, like so. Now, when it comes to cash, though, this is where you would count everything in your cash drawer at this point. So I'm now going to enter some figures into the cash part here. There we go. So I finished now counting everything in my cash drawer and just have a little check to make sure we're happy with everything we've entered. Press next. Again, you can put in a little note here if you like, but now I'm just going to tap close terminal. And you get this little box pop here. Would you like to view the cash net report? Yes, I would. Here we go. So we've got our cash net report here now then. So first of all, we can see at the top, you've got your print and export options and a few other little filters. In the middle of the screen, you've got a little bit of information about the date and times and what have you. So we can see here that I've got cash and I've got my £100 float here that's included. So we've got our counted figure first and we've got the expected figure. So we can see a discrepancy here. So this is the difference between what I should have had and what I actually have entered in when I counted. And then down below, you've got your other tenders. So we can see that one matches the credit card. So at this point now, I'm going to close the screen and that's the terminal closed. So the idea here is that you can sort of use starting float, closing float, either for the start and end of a shift or start and end of a day. So what I mean by start and end of a shift is if you've got a site that's open quite long hours, you might have split shifts for staff. I could come in and open the shop at 7 and I could finish my shift at 4. I could actually do a open and closing float. Somebody else then could come in at 4 o'clock and work till say 8 or 9 o'clock, maybe a driving range shop. They could do a start and ending float again. There we go. So hopefully there's a nice little feature there, guys, that allow you to enter a float at the start of the day, cash up at the end of your shift, but also I think that gives a little bit more security around the cashing up part. So you physically, what the staff are entering on the screen, any user, you can actually see discrepancies. It's better than writing down on pen and paper and just kind of, typing in with calculators. It's all on the screen, it's all done for you. But at least that way as well, it's put into Xpos, so you can see on the screen what you're counting and see if there's any discrepancies. And that hopefully saves you guys some time for the future. Like always, if you have any questions about any topics that come up, whether it's this or another topic, please let us know. We're happy to sort of have a look at some topics that interest you guys. And have a great week and catch you all soon.